them what they termed the drivers of insurgency, the root causes of insurgency, illiteracy, poverty, lack of empowerment of youth and women, the issue of the IDPs. And we have solicited for their immediate support.
Similar issues of security also dominated discussions when President Muhammadu Buhari granted audience to the Benue State Governor Samuel Otom.
With the support of Mr. President, I can say that the state is relatively calm. Today, the issue of herdsmen and farmers clashes, we've been able to, through dialogue, agree to work together in a manner that there will be win-win. Yes, the herdsmen have their right to live, but the farmers too have their right to live. We have the food, they have the meat. So we must always find a way around it, working together, not allowing criminality to be involved.
In the meantime, the chairman, APC Gubernatorial Campaign Council for the forthcoming Ondo State governorship election and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, was also in the State House to formally present the APC candidate for the election, Rotimi Akeredolu, to President Muhammadu Buhari.
We came with a confirmation that APC has only one candidate, unlike other parties that are fighting about who is their candidate. We are seeing a very smooth election. Not only a smooth election, and then the credibility of the candidate itself is something worth selling. The President has also confirmed that, yes, he's seen the candidate and also praying for a successful election in Ondo State.
Today, APC is not only on ground in Ondo, APC is at the center in this country. And take it or leave it, the people of Ondo State want change, and they are prepared to give everything for it, to have change in government.
The Ondo State governorship election is slated for the 26th of November this year. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
For safer internal security, there is a need for closer collaboration between the Army and the police. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai stated this during discussions with Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris. Edino Justice has details.
Chief of Army Staff, who said he is on a reciprocal visit to the IGP, stressed that though maintenance of law and order squarely rested with the police, the Army has that responsibility to give them support. He said insecurity in the country calls for synergy among the services.
We really need to come together and synergize more than ever before at this very trying period, especially a series of communal crises, the issue in the Niger Delta as well, and indeed the Northeast. The farmers had us clash.
Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris, while commending the Chief of Army Staff for the success recorded in the Northeast insurgency, expressed the line that military-police collaboration will boost inter-service cordiality.
Now we are still pressing our commands to establish the joint operation center because we believe that it's very, very necessary. Of course, you take note of what happened in Funtua recently. See how it's good to operate in a joint, so that you speak with one voice and we have a uniform of, in most tackling some of these situations we have all over the country.
IGP noted that police is planning to rebuild the destroyed Goza facilities. Aiding Justice, NTA News.
In the meantime, participants at a national workshop on assistance and protection against chemical weapons are calling for caution so as not to allow criminals lay hands on such weapons, considering the inherent dangers. Abdullahi Garba Kudu reports that the workshop is in collaboration with the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
In line with the international convention of which Nigeria is a signatory, the workshop is drawing attention to disarmament, non-proliferation, international cooperation and protection against the use of chemical weapons. Of concern to speakers is how to protect the citizenry against its abuse by criminals. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Debilawa's message was delivered by the Permanent Secretary, Political and Economic Matters.
We make sure that the chemical weapons that are imported into the country are used for the purposes for which they are imported. And the government should make sure that these chemicals are not not get into the hands of the non-state actors like Boko Haram.
On no account should we allow our insurgents, either the Boko Haram or the militants in the Niger Delta, to have access to chemical weapons or their precursors.
The presence of NAVDAC, Nuclear Regulatory Agency, and the armed forces provided direction in regulating chemical applications.
We also control chemicals, and in a bid to ensure that we do that is expected of us is in ensuring that the chemicals are used for the purpose for which they are meant.
The workshop is spearheaded by the National Authority on Chemical Weapons. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Purnunkudu, NTA News.
As part of fulfilling the Nigerian Air Force commitments to affordable houses for its personnel, Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar has inaugurated some completed housing projects in Port Harcourt. Karina Igonikon reports.
After inspecting the Guard of Honor, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, moved to the inauguration of projects completed at Port Harcourt Air Force Base. The Chief of Air Staff charged the officers to see the gesture as a motivation for further performance and ensure that they use the facilities judiciously.
It is expected that additional accommodation and base facilities will be a morale booster for the personnel of the unit, hence the decision to build this accommodation. It is heartwarming to note that the problems associated with living and office accommodation has actually been substantially addressed in the Nigerian Air Force in the last 1 year.
The projects inaugurated include 18 by 2 bedroom flats for senior officers, a block of 10 by 1 bedroom flats remodeled for junior officers, as well as a parade ground for the Air Force Secondary School. In Port Harcourt, Karina Igonikon, NTA News.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, has assured people indigenous to the Federal Capital Territory of inclusion in political appointments in future, as the matter will be brought to the attention of President Muhammadu Buhari. This assurance was contained in a statement by the Director of Press in the office of the SGF, Bolaji Adebi, which stated that the SGF apologized to the people for their exclusion in federal government appointments made so far. It explains that the SGF received the honor of Abaji, Alhaji Adamu Baba Yunusa, who is also Chairman FCT Council of Chiefs, who complained that the exclusion of the indigenous population of the FCT in certain federal appointments contravenes certain provisions of the 1999 Constitution and the Federal Character Commission, which specifies that FCT should be treated as if it were one of the states of Nigeria. The honor appealed to Mr. Lawal to carry the FCT along when political appointments are made. The Joint National Assembly Committees on Land Transport have pledged continuous support to federal government's efforts at reviving the railway sector. It was while visiting some projects in Abuja as part of their oversight functions. Oinaya Kaluoka reports.
Spot of call was the Ministry of Transportation headquarters, where the Minister Chibike Amechi briefed them on activities and programs of the ministry.
Since the inception of this present administration, efforts have been geared towards completion of projects inherited and also initiating new ones.
At the Nigeria Institute of Transport Technology, it was disclosed that lack of funds was the reason for abandoning the project, awarded since 2010. Also visited was the headquarters of the contractors handling the Abuja-Kaduna rail. They took a train ride from the Edu station to Kubwa station.
This is the kind of dividends that Nigerians are looking for. I'm hoping that by this oversight, we will be able to critically look at the areas where the Ministry of Transportation need help.
I want to assure that, we have this an efficient rail transport system. We'll do all we can to greatly assist the NRC.
They should look for better days ahead, and they should support the government by reporting any miscreant that is trying to sabotage government efforts.
The House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee on Insurance, investigating returns and premiums paid to government officials by insurance companies, says it has uncovered 640 million naira paid as commission to 2 unlicensed brokers. The payment was made by insurance companies that provided service in some ministries, departments and agencies. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Izumba reports.
Chairman House Ad hoc Committee on Insurance Adekunle Akinlade named the unlicensed brokers and said there is need to check processes of government to avoid leakages plus other reactions.
We need to look at the processes of selection. How do you pick these insurance and brokerage firms? You know, what is the level of complicity in this return on premium? Money is being paid back to individuals.
We did business with Chrome, and we know, just like you also know, that they have not been able to renew their license.
There are no discrepancies from our own end. The areas where we weren't so clear about, we wrote to the leading underwriter to shed more light.
In another development, Chairman House Committee on Maritime Safety, Education and Administration, Mohammed Omar Bago, has advised the Maritime Academy of Nigeria to pay contractors that have certificates of completion of jobs so that those that have reached an appreciable level will resume work.
Let the minister come here and tell us exactly that you should not pay. He told you not to pay contractors. Those ones that have already worked for the last 6 years, nobody has the right to say you shouldn't pay them.
We have done a lot of payment between January and July. The acting editor that over 600 million to contractors.
The registrar is to appear before the committee again with all documents of their transactions in 2 weeks' time and to forward the documents a week ahead of time. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Izumba, NTA News.
The fight against corruption cannot be achieved if it is not seen and taken as a collective responsibility of the citizens and the government. This was the submission of guests on NTA's current affairs program, Good Morning Nigeria, while discussing the topic Corruption and You this Monday morning. Oyeyemi Ajayi has the details.
Corruption in Nigeria has continued to be a daily topic of discourse by every Nigerian, especially as the present government makes the fight against it one of its priorities. Cutting across the political class, down to the man on the street, corruption has been said to have eaten deep to the extent that some acts of corruption are seen as normal in the society. The fact that it takes two to be corrupt, guests on Good Morning Nigeria classified corruption into grand corruption, which they say involves the political class, and the petty corruption, which involves the people. The question is that how active are the institutions saddled with the responsibility in the fight against corruption?
So where is the audit? Where is the Auditor General's office? Are we strengthening that office to perform its role? Where is the Accountant General's office? Are we strengthening it? Is the National Assembly, are the National Assembly committees performing their oversight functions? When people talk about EFCC, ICPC, those are indications of a collapse. Yeah. The setup of these institutions is indication that something is wrong with our policing system.
We need to overhaul our educational system and ensure that there is discipline, there is high-level performance. Just what we used to have should come back in the educational system.
We have to ensure that we have the right leaders, because what we have incidental leaders in many places, and that is why they do not really see anything wrong.
Well, either talking about the grand corruption or the petty corruption, all is corruption, and there is a need for Nigerians to key into the change campaign of the Buhari-led administration, which is change begins with me, and of course, with you too. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
A total of 1,473 fresh basic midwives graduates are to be deployed into the Midwives Service Scheme as part of stepping up the country's effort at reducing maternal and child mortality. The first batch had to undergo a 2-day orientation workshop in Abuja before their deployment. Here is health correspondent Rabi Abdallah with the report.
Nigeria's disturbing health indices, especially where maternal mortality currently put at 575 deaths per 1,000 live births and under 5 mortality put at 128 deaths per 1,000 live births, which translates to 3 deaths per day and 2 per minute, are concerned, underscores the need for a concerted effort to reverse the trend, especially where skilled attendance at the point of delivery is concerned. This set of fresh basic midwives graduates, 443 in number, is the first batch of the total number of the 1,473 churned out of schools of basic midwives nationwide.
The friendliness, the approach, the humor, the attention, the tendency to care will endear a particular midwife to the hearts of clients.
The two-day orientation program is organized by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and the participants will be acquainted with topics such as the roles and responsibilities of midwives under the Midwife Service Scheme. This set of participants going into the noble profession of care under the Midwife Service Scheme is composed of fresh basic midwives graduates of 2014 session. The one-year mandatory community service has become a prerequisite for licensing. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA.
Wives of the 19 northern state governors have resolved to take proactive measures to address substance abuse and HIV/AIDS infection among adolescents in their states. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim was at their second meeting.
Substance abuse and HIV and AIDS, especially among women and youth, have become two of the biggest challenges confronting most of the northern states of the Federation, with over 2.1 million adolescents living with HIV and AIDS, and Kano State having the highest number of substance addiction in Nigeria. Concerned by this development, spouses of the northern state governors came together to chart the way forward.
The forum has decided to come up with a structured plan to address the issue of substance abuse in northern Nigeria.
At the end of the meeting, wives of the northern state governors say they will employ lasting strategies in fighting the twin problems.
It's an opportunity for us to come together so that we deliberate and share experiences and discuss issues of common concern.
These are the kind of things that we can achieve as mothers, as advocates, as wives of governors.
We have also taken it as a priority to ensure that adolescents have access to HCT facilities.
The meeting, which is the second in the series, will reconvene in January 2017 to share its success stories and set a new agenda on the way forward. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Governor Muhammad Umar Jibrila of Adamawa State has called for sustained support by donor agencies and corporate organizations towards the welfare of internally displaced persons. The governor stated this while providing relief to IDPs in Eula by a non-governmental organization. Rayan Ubala reports.
Two exit camps established in the outskirts of Maiduguri, the state capital, are located at Custom House and Mona Garage, distributing the food items which include rice, maize, cooking oil and other condiments to the over 10,000 internal displaced persons hitherto trapped in settlements and villages due to insurgency. SEMA Chairman Satomi Ahmed encouraged them to report suspicious person to security personnel. He added that both the federal and state governments are committed to restoring their dignity, hence the need for them to cooperate with authority to fast-track their rehabilitation and settlement. In the meantime, Satomi Ahmed, while addressing IDPs sheltered at the Loritu camp, commended their sense of unity. He said the Quranic competition they organized for women, in which 52 of them participated, will strengthen the bond of family and urge them to continue in that spirit. In Maiduguri, Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Well, that report was actually by Hamman Jabani. President Muhammad Buhari is worried and shocked by the recently released Human Rights Watch report, which alleges sexual abuse and exploitation of women and girls in camps for those displaced by the Boko Haram insurgency. This is contained in a statement by presidential spokesman Garba Shehu. It says the welfare of these most vulnerable of Nigerian citizens has been a priority of the Buhari government, and that Nigerians and the international community can rest assured that the allegations raised in the report are not being taken lightly. President Buhari has instructed the Inspector General of Police and the governors of the affected states to immediately commence investigations into the issue, adding that their findings will determine the next course of action for the government and define an appropriate response. while the Nigerian military continues to work hard so that these unfortunate victims of Boko Haram terrorism can soon return safely to their homes, it says the government will do its best to ensure their protection and welfare in the temporary IDP camps. The need to reform Islamic personal laws in order to protect the rights of women and children was part of the recommendations of a research on 15 years of Sharia implementation in northern Nigeria conducted by the Development Research Project Center and partners. Ali Tukur has the details.
The return of Nigeria to democratic governance in 1999 re-energized agitation for reintroduction and implementation of the Sharia legal system in some northern states. 12 states have so far adopted, bringing social, political and economic reactions. It was against this backdrop the research was conducted with the aim of using the findings for policy-level advocacy by engaging relevant authorities. The research, which is based on 5 fields such as Sharia court, Hizbah, Zakat, Ulama and gender, is said to have positive impact on the society, especially in addressing issues of women and children.
What we need is a deeper and better application, not just stop at the reform of the criminal law, but also to reform the personal law, so that some of the negative things that have been happening to women, even before Sharia, should also be addressed.
We strongly believe that the findings from this research will contribute to the conversation on how to ensure that we have a more peaceful Nigeria going forward.
Among some of the recommendations is to invest more on the Sharia courts to improve quality of justice delivery and establishment of more customary courts for the use of non-Muslims. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
And you can watch this broadcast live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. And still ahead, the child, aging and disabilities. The details when we return.
This is a happy moment for me and for all Nigerians.
Amina Ali Nkeke, the first Chibok school girl to be rescued in the renewed onslaught against the Boko Haram insurgency.
Amina's rescue gives us new hope.
Federal government has formally received the 21 abducted Chibok girls.
These dear daughters of ours have seen the worst that the world has to offer. It is now time for them to experience the best that the world can do for them. Government will sustain the effort until all the remaining girls return safely.
The second round of the Bank of Industry Graduate Entrepreneurship Fund, GEF, is now open for entries. The scheme is to encourage graduates of tertiary institutions to venture into business and become employers of labor rather than job seekers.
To be eligible for this program, the core member will have to take part in an online business plan competition.
The selected corpers will undergo a 4-day intensive entrepreneurship capacity building program that will run simultaneously in NYC camps across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, including Lagos.
Successful core members who are able to produce bankable business plans would be provided with loans of up to 2 million naira at 9% interest rates per annum, with tenures ranging from 3 to 5 years.
Hurry! Go to the Graduate Entrepreneurship Fund online application portal at www.boinigeria.ng/GEF and submit your business idea. Application portal opens on Wednesday, October 26th and closes at midnight of November 7, 2016.
Bank of Industry, transforming Nigeria's industrial sector.
It's truck month at Ford and we've got a Ranger just for you, Vincent. Here's the workhorse 2.5 petrol single cab with free Ford Protect, a 4-year 120,000 kilometer service plan. Or the 2.5 petrol-based double cab with 800mm water wading capability, available in manual transmission and with free Ford Protect. So while stocks last, visit Kostaris Motors today. Because, wait for it, thanks Vincent. we've got a tough Ford Ranger just for you.
The Honorable Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Chibok Rotimi Amechi, on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Transportation and 8 maritime agencies, invites stakeholders in the maritime sector and members of the general public to the 2016 World Maritime Day celebration. Theme: Shipping, indispensable to the world. Paper presentation title: Growth and Development of Shipping Industry in Nigeria, Creating Enabling Environment. Presenter: Captain Adamu Abu, former Executive Secretary and CEO, Nigerian Shippers Council. Date: Wednesday, 2nd November 2016. Venue: Grand Ballroom, Echo Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. Time: 10 a.m. prompt. S. Sakari, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Navigating through economic recession requires some experience and strategy. We are happy to bridge this gap as we present Envision Africa Summit 2016. This summit is structured to present an action plan for building wealth in Africa, most importantly in Nigeria. Our American partners, companies and corporate executives are to partake and share opportunities of investment with our federal and state governments, business leaders, manufacturers in industries such as agriculture, solid minerals, information technology, steel, oil and gas, and the global community, so as to contribute to effect positive shift to the Nigerian economy. Join us at NAF Conference Center and Transcorp Hilton, Abuja, Nigeria on the 15th and 16th of November 2016. Time is 10 a.m. For sponsorship and partnership, you can email info@africancbf.org. The Envision Africa Summit. Come, connect, create.
Do you know that importing consumables and domestic products kill local manufacturing and negatively affect the growth of the economy? That some imported products are dangerous to your health? That building factories can generate massive employment and grow the economy? Buying locally made products and services means investing back in the economy. Thousands of Nigerians are innovative and can take Nigeria to the next level. Growing the economy starts with you and I. Raise the standard. Grow the economy. Buy made in Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Afrima.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless Afrima. Merci, Afrima. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Afrima. Thank you, Afrima. Thank you, Afrima. Thank you, Afrima. Thank you. Thank you, Afrima.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Afrima.
Afrima. Thank you, Afrima. Africa to the rare. I love you all. It means a lot to me. Afrima 3.0. Wow.
On Sunday, November 6th, 2016, at Eco Convention Center, Eco Hotels and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria.
Red carpet starts at 4:30 p.m.
Afrima live broadcast to over 84 countries start at 7:30 p.m.
This is strictly by invitation. This event is brought to you by Lagos State with support from One Campaign, Access Bank, PRM Africa, and the Nigerian Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
For hope, for celebration.
Thanks for staying with us on NTA Network News. The need for the federal government's assent to the disability bill in order to ensure the integration of persons with disabilities into the society has again been emphasized. This was the submission of speakers at the 50th birthday of Senator Osita Izunaso and 11th anniversary of Pakwando Foundation. Joseph Johnson reports.
Over the years, persons with disability in Nigeria have been marginalized in almost all spheres, depriving them of the basic opportunities entitled to every citizen, thereby infringing their fundamental human rights. The Pakwando Foundation for Physically Challenged Persons has been looking into their plight, and a large number of them, alongside government functionaries, traditional rulers and notable personalities, converged here to celebrate the 11th anniversary of the foundation, which coincided with the 50th birthday of the founder.
We do this religiously every year because we believe sincerely that persons with disability that we call special citizens have enormous potentials in them. All it requires is for you to develop that potential.
Whether we are crippled, poor, no matter our condition, all of us have a claim to this country.
Beneficiaries were presented with gifts including cars, sewing machines, wheelchairs, and others.
I give a 3 boza to these organizers. He has done a laudable job. If we have 10 Nigerians who are doing this, Nigeria will change.
Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
And Speaker House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara says the House has consolidated 4 private member bills that will address fundamental aspects of welfare of older persons. This was at the Multisectoral Stakeholders Forum on Aging and Legislation, organized by the House in collaboration with Dave Omokaru Foundation. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Zumba reports.
View of the socio-economic implications of aging and the need for a national strategic agenda that will promote equity and inclusion of older persons. The Speaker, represented by Chairman House Committee on FEMA, Jerry Alaboso, said the forum is apt, providing opportunity for concerned persons to engage in discourse to generate policies and legislations that can eliminate discrimination.
Nigeria has yet to put in place the policy framework and age-specific legislation to respond to core issues of concern to other people.
Ageism shapes perceptions of the young and old. It can contribute to apathy towards the ill treatment of older people.
Executive Director Dave Omokaro Foundation, Emem Omokaro, said the Speaker's offer will herald a national campaign against ageism.
We're going to have legislations, and we are going to have that policy. And sustainable development goals will not leave you behind.
Responsibility to take care of this segment of people has been abandoned by the family.
House members say the House is open for more resources that will further address challenges faced by Nigerian families for people to live longer and healthy lives. The National Assembly, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NT News.
The National Council of Child Rights Advocate of Nigeria is seeking the support of the Nigerian Television Authority towards promoting child rights issues and giving them a voice and a place in the country. This was when council members visited the Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
Saddled with the responsibility of promoting child rights culture and tackling unruly child abuses and violation, the National Council says it is seeking partnership with the Nigerian Television Authority in its campaign against violating the dignity of children.
From the local government areas, we have all officers, child rights officers, and we are implementing child rights decks in schools, hospitals, marketplaces. Let everybody be aware that the rights of a child must not be violated.
Director General NTA Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, who was represented, lauded the initiative, reiterating NTA's willingness to partner with the council towards ensuring the success of the laudable vision.
These things will be put right, and we need to carry out these educative programs to schools, churches, mosques, for people, families to understand. We believe if we do that successfully, Nigeria will be a better place.
He identified the family as the bedrock of proper child development, hence the need for proper family planning. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
As Nigeria joins in commemorating the 2016 World Savings Day, over 200 secondary schools across the 6 geopolitical zones are benefiting from a mentorship program to encourage savings culture among young Nigerians. The Central Bank of Nigeria is spearheading the Enlightenment Program, with Government Secondary School Suleja, Niger State, benefiting. Kulu Mohammed has details.
2014, the Central Bank of Nigeria has actively taken part in marking the World Savings Day through mentorship programs. The bank, through its Consumer Protection Department, organizes mentorship programs to enhance financial literacy. This year's theme is, "Don't save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving."
We did not only engage the children in teaching them to inculcate savings habits, we also encourage them that as forms of savings, they could start small businesses.
We are trying to include the informal sector now into the formal financial system. Now, how we do that, we partner with some institutions like Central Bank of Nigeria, and they were kind enough to inform us about the school mentoring program.
Following the Enlightenment program, to what extent have the students imbibed the message of saving for tomorrow?
The CPN told me that I can be able to start up a business like poultry and get into my house now. I believe after telling my parents, they will help me open something like that I could start.
We are able to understand so many important things that one need to save towards this retirement, particularly for us, we workers.
Most families and nations run into financial insecurity due to absence of savings. The World Savings Day 2016 says it is possible to attain an enduring financial comfort zone if the citizens imbibe the habit of disciplined savings.
Today is the World Savings Day, and the CBN is here in Suleja to inculcate a disciplined savings culture in children. From Suleja in Niger State, Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
And time now for more reports from our Lagos Network Center with Vera taking us through. Hello, Vera.
Thank you, Cyril. Good evening and welcome to Lagos. Nigerians are being advised to concentrate on real economic issues that will guarantee the nation's socio-economic emancipation. Hamaechi Pius reports that speakers at an economic forum gave this advice in Lagos.
The forum was the Point newspaper's public first annual conference, which focused on economic regeneration. The Emir of Kano, Muhammad Sanusi II, who was guest of honor, blamed the economic crisis on decades of policy failure. The Emir, who gave an insight into how the economy has evolved over the years, urged the federal government to take proactive measures to address the various problems faced in the country.
When you are faced with an economic problem, you have to make a choice between alternatives, and you have to be sure that the choice you make is ultimately better for the overall interest of the economy, long-term, short-term.
Governor of Osun State, Ralph Aregbesola, told the gathering that a strategic development plan must be put in place by government to reverse the disturbing trend of a decline in foreign earnings and Nigerians' penchant for imported goods.
If you can domesticate the material we use to build houses, you can domesticate the material we use to build roads, if you can domesticate what we wear, there will be no recession from tomorrow.
Pastor of the Lateran Assembly, Tunde Bakari, spoke on the importance of a clearly defined change in attitude that will promote the much desired growth of the economy. The forum attracted stakeholders from all sectors of the economy. In Lagos, Hamaechi Pius, NTA News.
The federal government, through the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, will soon review all agreements skewed in favor of terminal operators and enterprises within the ports industry. The managing director of Nigerian Ports Authority, Hadiza Bala Usman, made this known during her maiden tour of all ports in the eastern zone of the country. She advised all organizations involved in the anomaly to quickly reconcile their terms of agreement with NPA.
The maiden visit of the new management team of Nigerian Ports Authority, led by the managing director, Hadiza Bala Usman, gave them the opportunity to have a first-hand assessment of operations at the Port Harcourt and Onne ports. The team inspected facilities at Boa ports and terminals, the rehabilitation of rail network, NPA workshop and shipyard, the medical center, and Bonny Channel Company. The managing director frowned at the neglect of the collapsed section of the key apron of berth 8 at Boa and warned them to fix the collapsed section as contained in their concession agreement with the federal government or face sanction. She said the authority would no longer tolerate any breach of agreement, while stressing that all revenue leakages will be blocked. Hadiza Bala Usman cautioned companies fond of diverting government revenue into their coffers.
We've noted historic provision where a service provider is leading payments are made to the service provider. That is not acceptable to us going forward. All payments will be made directly to NPA. NPA will reconcile its account and then make any payments due to the service provider will be paid to them after he has collected it directly.
The management team also met with stakeholders in the maritime sector. The managing director urged stakeholders and operators of the terminals to brace up in promoting export commodities through the ports as part of the diversification of the economy agenda of the federal government. She also spoke on beefing security at the nation's ports.
Port passes are issued at random. We need to create that, have people's biometrics that would enhance the process and ensure that there is complete compliance to ISPS code.
The managing director later commissioned the 3.5 MVA substation connecting on a port to the national grid.
You're watching the NTA Network News from the Lagos Network Center. We take a break now to bring you some messages. The news returns in a moment. Stay tuned.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Last drop bottle of Sprite. And there it is. And there. And there. That sudden burst of intense refreshment that just keeps coming. Good job, Sprite.
Success. I always wanted to make something of myself. Even when I was a child. With So Clean, my mother made sure that my clothes were clean and bright. With a 30% concentrated formula, washing is faster, brighter, and cleaner. Like millions of families, mine also trust So Clean. With my clothes and with my career. Because when all eyes are on you, you have to look the part. So Clean. It's your time to shine.
So Clean. Now with a new look and stain magnet technology for even better stain removal.
That matter, the ones we grow with, stay with us for generations. Thank you for 150 years of lasting memories.
Nestle, good food, good life.
La 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 like no other. Hey dancer, footballer, fashionista,
Celebrate the uniqueness within you and win exciting prizes in the Indomie You Like No Other promo. Cut out the unique characters, collect 20 characters, submit to a redemption center to win an indomitable carton. First 500 people to collect 50 characters win 100,000 naira instantly. Gifts of over 600 million naira to be won. So hurry up! Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Back in Abuja with more news. The Nigerian Stock Exchange loses 195 billion naira in 2 weeks as negative sentiments persist. The details on Business News with Joy Uzo.
The Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, has urged Nigerian women to key into the Central Bank of Nigeria's 220 billion naira Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Fund. She regretted that despite the fact that 62% of the facility is for women, less than 20% of it has been drawn down as at the last count. The harsh economic climate being experienced at present in the country has made the aviation sector to record a decline of 9% in activities in the second quarter of this year. according to figures published by the National Bureau of Statistics. For instance, the report revealed that 54,405 aircraft arrived at or departed from Nigerian airports in the second quarter of this year. This report added represented a decrease of 9% relative to the 59,808 aircraft recorded in the first quarter. In terms of passenger traffic, the report stated that this dropped marginally to 3,532,775 passengers in the second quarter of this year. The report added that in the first and second quarters of the year, domestic travels recorded a smaller growth rate than international travels. Activities on the Nigerian Stock Exchange (NSE) last week continued on a negative note as investors lose 104 billion naira, thereby bringing the total losses in 2 consecutive weeks to 195 billion naira. Next is a graphic summary of recent trading figures on the floor of the NSE. And that's it on Business Package for now. Thanks for watching. I am Joy Uzo.
And there's still more about the economy ahead. Aliko Dangote on way out of recession. Listen more as we join Shehu in our Jos Network studio. Good evening, Shehu.
Good evening, Cyril, and welcome to Jos. The President and Chief Executive of Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, says favorable government policies, disposal of non-performing assets, and steady power supply are some of the factors that will take Nigeria out of the current recession. This was at a lecture he delivered for the 2016 Executive Course 38 participants of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
Promotion of local manufacturing and poverty reduction have been on the top list of the present administration. The Apex Center of Policy and Research, NIPS, Kuru, is a platform for cross-ventilation of ideas for a better Nigeria. This informed the lecture by Aliko Dangote to share his private sector experience and policy options with a view to drive the economic growth and development of the nation. He stated the need for government to create enabling environment for local and foreign investors to set up businesses, interventions for small and medium-scale enterprises, as well as remove barriers that hinder the growth of the non-oil sector.
Entrepreneurs drive the economic development process in several ways. They create wealth, generate jobs opportunities, and promote development.
Alhaji Dangote noted that Nigeria remains one of the best places to invest in the world, despite obstacles such as poor infrastructure, youth unemployment, corruption, and security challenges.
Save is what the president has announced, which is diversifying the economy. And part of the diversification is focusing on the low-hanging fruits which you have, which is agriculture, for example, solid minerals.
Acting Director General of NIPS, Jonathan Juma, said the institute has gained from his wealth of experience that will further move the country to the next level.
Alhaji Dangote is a very humble person, very disciplined, and large-hearted. It is only a large heart that will open his business and dilute it and allow ordinary Nigerians to partake in the business.
From NIPS in Kuru, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
And still from NIPS Kuru, a think tank conference is underway to find best solutions for Nigeria's current economic recession and to chart a path for quick recovery. The 3-day conference has as its theme, From Recession to Recovery and Growth, Policy Options for the Nigerian Economy. Yusuf Umar has the report.
Every nation has a trying period when it becomes imperative for it to gather all hands on deck to proffer solutions. Today's state of the Nigerian economy has also called for such a strategy to turn the economy around. The National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, which has the mandate for giving viable input to policy formulation, has come in handy to play just that role by bringing together relevant stakeholders to discuss and come up with viable options to the present economic recession.
Given the options we have in place,
It is obvious that we need a more comprehensive policy option from the several available that will help us to come out of the recession quickly and help guarantee the quickest delivery of dividends of democracy.
The performance of any economy in any nation is seen as a mirror of the leadership of that country.
Other stakeholders also lent their voices, suggesting ways their various offices can bring about the desired economic changes Nigeria requires.
In our programming, news coverage, and jingles, we sensitize the public because government is not government alone. It is the people. And when we operate inclusive government, as this government is doing, in order to revamp the economy through diversification of the economy.
From NIPS Kuru, Yusuf Umar, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. Is back to Cyril in Abuja.
Thank you, Shehu. And we'll take another break for more messages. Stay with us.
Bumper harvest ahead, but importantly managing post-harvest losses in the agricultural sector. This is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, interactive, informative and educative. Don't be told. Join us.
IGR workshop for heads of tertiary institutions in Nigeria, holding in Abuja. In times like this, only creative and innovative institutions can fulfill their visions and missions. Join other vice chancellors, rectors, and provosts for this 360 degrees strategic blueprint summit for tertiary institutions, internally generated and third stream revenues. Date 1st and 2nd November 2016. Venue Race Continental Hotel, Central Business District, Abuja. For inquiries, call 0818-502-1405 or 090-345-34925. You can also email us with info@scbsedu.org or you visit our website on www.scbsedu.org/IGR Abuja to register. Please come with the directors of income generating centers of your institution. IGR Workshop. Relay, network, and re-strategize. This initiative is of Sean Cousins Consulting and NTA TV Enterprise.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Now for a bit on the global scene with Chimdema Ndubisi.
Uganda's president is back to his farm in Lowero and will spend 1 week there promoting agriculture as well as overseeing some government projects. With the changing weather patterns and unreliable rainfall, the president is demonstrating to the local farmers how to plant bananas and coffee using less expensive irrigation method. And South Africa joins Burundi and the Gambia to indicate decision to withdraw from the International Criminal Court, ICC. The United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is urging South Africa to reconsider the decision. In the Central African Republic, France has ended its military operation 3 years after deploying peacekeepers to quell the violence that emanated from a coup which caused the death of many. However, there are reports of fresh violence between two armed groups and death of 4 persons. In another development, 15,000 people are now homeless in the wake of Italy's strongest earthquake since 1980. Although no death occurred, about 20 people are said to be injured. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
Sports next, and Amanzi Marcus brings us up to date.
Stakeholders at the just concluded Nigerian Air Force Games in Katsina have lauded the initiative, saying it will go a long way in keeping the personnel fit while producing a pool of talents that can represent Nigeria in international competitions. Training Command Kaduna won with 21 gold, 13 silver and 14 bronze medals.
But you must ensure that you maintain the tempo so that perhaps in the near future, some of you will be able to represent not only the Nigerian Air Force, but indeed the country in international sporting events.
Indeed, the